So I'm sitting here and I'm listening to this. I'm sitting at my table. I've got my heartburn medicine right here with my I voted sticker on it. I'm looking at my president who's not serving. And then listen to this lady. This is how synced up shit becomes because it doesn't even make any sense.
Really deep. It's just not going away.
We have the election, which is possible it won't be. And there's also possible we'll be in World War III with these
So it's not a believe me look that we're seeing. It's emphasis as he speaks.
idiots that are doing what they're doing. You could end up in a nuclear world war, which will make World War I and World War II look like patty cakes. Okay.
No believe me look in that. Why is that important? I found that important because you've got somebody who knows things. This man is not an idiot. He's got friends in very high places. Knows the ins and outs of the deep state. He's sounding an alarm, but it's an angry alarm. It doesn't need the believe me look. He's just angry that the alarm is not being heeded. It's like if I pulled the fire alarm and told you it was a damn fire in the kitchen.
It's a
and
fire!
You better get in here with some baking soda and water. I'd be very upset if all of you just sat there and stared at me.
Now, hold on. Why I found that funny. Do you need baking soda and water for a fire? Do you need it? Because I got it right here. I got to put a little baking soda in here right now. I got a fire too. It's in my stomach.
Give me a cold pop.
Stomach's
Then
welling
I
up.
thought
It's
somebody
like
was
fire.
barbecuing.
Oh my
I said,
God,
oh
you
Lord
got a
Jesus,
fire.
it's a fire.
Good afternoon. Today is brought to you by fucking high level of pollen. Pollen today is pretty fucking extreme. It's got me fucked up. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling fucked up. What can I do about it? Well, I guess I could add some. I got the pollen all around. I got the pollen all around. Messing me around. Put these in here. Oh, so nice. It's fucking me up. My buddy who was supposed to come and I was going to help him move was going to be here at noon. He never called. He never showed up. And I've been miserable. Frankly, I've been sleeping. I talked to my dad. It's not like he's leaving today, so. But he's a little bit closer, like I said. All my attention's on that. I made another video where I called my uncle. My uncle's my dad's brother. I got a hold of him a couple days ago, and I called him back and gave him some of the update. And I talked to him for about an hour. And I really get along with this uncle, too. I really like him. He's got a lot of similarities. It's easy to communicate with him. My other uncle, the oldest one, the one that's older than my dad, that I thought was the oldest one in the family and wasn't, he never called back, never said shit. And I could hear in my mind, I could hear him listening to the message and then telling his wife, I wonder why he's calling me. I wonder what for. What's he calling me for? When I left the message. You know, that I wanted to get prayers for my dad and let him know what was going on. I don't think none of them have talked to my dad. He's been turning his phone off because he's been getting 500 calls from the AI. Yes, the AI will do that. It will call you 500 fucking times. Just continue to call him. If I answer the phone for him, I'd be like, can y'all please take him off the list? Can you please stop fucking calling him like this? The lady's like, I can't help you. I was like, all right, bitch. Well, fuck you. So my normal content is going to not be what is normal until it's right. I do feel like with him closer, and so did he say that. He said that too. I don't think he really likes being up there. And I talked to the landlady today. I let her know. She was married to Doug Ott. Oh, my stomach's all fucked up. I mean, if I eat, then I'm fucked up too. That when I eat, I'm fucked up. Immediately on the toilet. And I'm super bloated. I guess, and there's that. That's not nice. Oh, it's not nice. See, you must understand. I've got the screen recorder working. I'm going back through the phone. I guess I have some star power now. I need the star power to get boosted back up. I just really feel allergies bad. They fucked me up. So I'm not at all unhappy that the guy didn't come. I just wish he would have maybe said something, you know? But I don't know what's going on. I do feel like I said before, I feel like there's a little bit of conspiracy going on with some of the people that I think are my friends because of all the fraud paperwork and shit I found for the job. I don't ever leave. I do the job. I don't do it as it's written up, and I've always told them that. I was like, look, I just help him do whatever. If they've added weird stuff like put on his socks. He doesn't need no one to put his socks on. Although I did do it before he went to the hospital. But he's had this assisted help for a while, and I've had the job. It's just paranoid because all paperwork, all government, all that shit makes me paranoid. It has nothing to do with I'm not saying that I'm guilty of anything. I'm not. But what I'm saying is because it's government for the most part or whatever the fuck pays for it, that makes me, especially during the times when we have a president like this. Did you see what he came out and said? He was going to make a special announcement because of the school shooting. Yes, a transgender person went into a Christian school and murdered people. The one that they had attended. So, children had to die. Is that necessary? Because they weren't going to do gender affirming surgeries. That's an MK Ultra attack. That's a triggered human running program and then murdered by cop. Omega programming. That's what it is. Terrorist. You can't respond to terrorists. Not in your daily life or anything else. You just can't. Once you start accepting terrorism, responding to it, interacting with it, it'll just grow. And America supposedly has this policy of, we don't negotiate with terrorists. Well, now we are the terrorists. We are the terrorists. We've been the terrorists for a long time. Now, I didn't always think that. I sure as hell didn't want to believe it. You should see this guy. I'll put my other videos in on with this because I told some stories that I still want to tell. Some very good stories, tales of faith. But my uncle with the cancer and some other story that I'll find out when I edit it. But please stay on the line. I need to shave. I'm not going to do it before I leave. It's not happening. I talked to my uncle for a good 45 minutes. My uncle Jimmy It's kind of like my Uncle Larry. My Uncle Larry and I became really good friends. My Uncle Larry was a deeply spiritual man. He started getting sick because he worked at Phillips 66, which oddly is right through that tunnel where I sometimes dream about the tunnel. Um, he was getting these really bad headaches, and he went to the doctor and they did an MRI. He's got a golf ball sized tumor in his brain. They said, "You have 3 months to live. Would you like to make some preparations how you want to handle this?" And you know what he did? He said, "Jesus is going to heal me. That's why this happened." Now, everybody thought he was fucking crazy. I love me some Jesus too. But I personally didn't know anybody that ever had anything like that happen. That never seen it. Heard all about it. Just didn't ever see it. You know, sort of what you really want is some of that spiritual power from some of this God relationship everybody talking about. Some of that walking on water shit. I just not ever seen it. It's true. After 3 months, Larry Spiegel had the doctors contact him. They'd like to know what he'd done to still be alive. Acupuncture, Chinese therapy. They called him back in. He had another MRI. That thing is gone. It's not there. He immediately went on a church circuit thing, confessing and giving his testimonial about God healing him, and he never even had checked if it actually had happened. That's the faith he had. I was like, and I got my beginning understanding of faith from my Uncle Larry. When he died, he was making sweet love to his wife and had a heart attack. Come on. Are you kidding me? That's how he died. And I love the shit out of Uncle Larry. He was actually very
Lord
cool.
Jesus is a
You
father.
could communicate with him. There was a little bit of similarities between his walk with God and my own. My grandmother liked that. You know, I would tell her that, like, I was at her house. I lived with my grandma for a little while. She lived up the street. She lives where my brother lives now. And I got locked out of the house. For whatever reason, I didn't have the key. She wasn't there. It was winter. It was cold. And I'm sitting out in my cold ass car, you know, thinking, damn, nobody's here. I ain't got the key. And just like this, a voice came. I heard it on this side. It said, "Go to the back porch. There's this thing." It was this thing. This exact thing is on my. I don't know how. I have no idea how there ended up being another one. That's the thing that the keys were in. Of course, it didn't have dip in it. I use it to dip and spit it in it. That's two of these things that are the things. Very distinctive objects. It said, "That thing's on the porch in a bowl." It was a big ass bowl. It did knickknacks and shit. It said, "In that thing is a rag. Pull that rag out. Underneath it's the key." And I'm like, no, no way. And I go, sure as shit, there's a key. Open the door and get in. She's like, "How did you get in here?" I was like, "Well, let me tell you." And I told my grandmother my story. And she said, "Your Uncle Larry says that God talks to him like that." And me and him began to talk. And I had this happen a couple times in my life. That was the first time. It'd been a while since I've audibly heard the angel of the Lord. There's all kinds of reasons to suspect that now. Somebody says that, oh, they're getting B2K. They can do that. Voice to skull, You can look it up. They can do that. They can make you hear voices in your head. And the problem with it is, so can the military. So one does begin to wonder, but it was not the military. I don't know. I can't say I know it wasn't evil, but I recognized the voice because it was my own voice. Now I talked to my uncle now, and when I was last working at my job, I was trying to get a car fixed. I had bought a Saab. There's my Saab story. Yeah, which it was a really cool car, but it was made in France, and the electrical sort of different. And I was having problems with it. I needed help. He was the help I called, and I was talking about all that stuff. And I was like, I think God is actually reconnecting some of the family lines and helping me to understand it by this electrical system that's run backwards. And you know what? For a lack of a better understanding than thinking that may be it, I'm going to hold with that and believe that there was. Oh my God, I got bad allergy. Oh, and it's bad. I had it stopped up today like a son of a bitch. The wind is blowing like crazy out there. I don't handle these pollens very well, and I look like shit. So please excuse me. I feel a lot better though because I did listen to what my uncle said, and I believe that it's the Lord in his newest way of showing me the way he wants me to go without actually having to tell me to do something like a fucking robot would need. Now that my heart is able to accept and understand the leading of the spirit, and I got a lot of issues with the fundamental belief of the church that brought me into my faith, which is Christianity, because I don't rightly think the same things. And in a lot of ways, I think that the church is lost. They have not done a damn thing, as far as I'm concerned, with like the child trafficking, all this stuff. Where are they at? You know? But I believe in Christ. I believe in Christ because Christ has communicated to me many times and told me some very strange things that I would not know and has been there with me. It lives in my heart. Now, I think that was the initial point, snapping me out of just muscle memory of the world life and all these things to try to help articulate it to someone that may not know what's going on. Make it a bad idea about the concept of God. There's a lot of mess in there. But every person needs God. They need the higher self, and they need that connection, and it's very difficult to put together, other than I will tell you for a fact that there is a God. All that bullshit with the devil, and that's not relevant. You don't need to worry about that. If you get yourself right with God, the God of your best conception, to realize someone that's outside of this thing and knows who the hell you are in here, that being does exist. That being does love you. It doesn't make sense. We don't have the mind to make sense of it while we're in here. It's a very hard concept to try to get people to understand. But I got my beginning in Faith 101 with that, my uncle. Because I'm gonna be perfectly honest, I expected him to die and think nothing about it. I wouldn't have took that up with God. I just would have thought, well, how many other people have been, missing a leg or paralyzed and, needed something. I saw the brain scan with the fucking thing in it that's this big around inside of his brain, giving him headaches from cancer, a fucking nasopharyngeal cancer. And he did. He went straight to praising God, saying, "Thank you, Lord, for healing me." And I saw it, and I know how he died. So it's very important that I get that message out. And now my uncle says, my other uncle, who I'm also close with, I feel very confident that the message was to get me contacting. I said, I'll start calling you regular. He's like, I appreciate that because I'm retired now and nobody comes by and I don't do nothing. And we can't live like that. I mean, if I'm sitting here, I'm telling you, it would immediately be a hole in me because my dad's out, and that's not the point. The point was to get up into this point. You know, something is about to happen. The families are meant to communicate and reconnect, and you know, extol one another about things that are important. I need to know the things he knows from faith. We're supposed to be a family. If we're not a family, then we would when it's so a lot of times you have certain family members that you're supposed to. There's a reason. You're not always going to know, but if you think about it, it makes sense. There are people that are important to you, like family, that may not be your blood family, but there's definitely some blood family that you need to search out. And there's definitely a mentor role and a dynamic there that if you just but look, and I think that was one of the messages. I really felt it because the things that he was saying, he was talking about having a chip on his shoulder towards God for 30 years. And I partly know why that is because of some of the relationship he had with his first wife. And it's just very strange. I do know it's the same thing. I remember her. She reminds me of my ex in a certain way, and she did him dirty. He had a lot of problems, but he's more in a way like me. My other uncle, I can't even talk to him. He's too, he probably think I'm trying to move in there. I don't have no idea. There's no breakthrough to that guy. He's no interest. I could actually hear him telling his wife, I wonder what he's calling me about. Why is he calling me? What's he calling me for? Not a callback. And I was like, man, that's very strange. That's part of the empath is hearing people what they say. A lot of times it's right. And I quit questioning it. I wondered if I was imagining that. But if when I get it really fast, when my mind goes there, my mind will go to that person where they're at, and I'll pick up something if it's been said. And that's exactly what I heard him say. And I know he did. My Uncle Willie's the same way. He's can't communicate with him. He's stuck up his wife's ass. She's the boss. And, my grandma called him the village idiot. I have a lot of cousins on that side. Only one of them I care about, though. That's my cousin Cody. Cousin Cody was, he was not a dickhead. But all the girls, they're stuck up. They're better than us. They're better than everybody. Don't care. Not interested. That's the world. People got to get a certain house and, just the shit she would say, just stuck up, you know. Welcome to the New World Order. We should be leaving anytime.